Welcome to Watch the Process. I'm going through some of my pre-prepared backgrounds. Sometimes I don't want to create one and I'll just use one I already have. So this is one I've already painted. I'm using some inexpensive craft paint, just some I think I got at probably Walmart or Michael's in teal. And I'm just painting some of that acrylic paint, blocking out some color onto the background with a paintbrush. And I have a few other colors in front of me. This is a green, kind of a lime green. I think it was a neon color. And I'm just brushing a little bit more of that on with my paintbrush. And you can let this air dry, or you can use a heat tool to let it dry. Sometimes I'll do that if I need it to dry quickly. Now I'm going to use, these are Stabilo pencils. They used to be called Tones, but they've introduced them, I guess, if you will, under a new name. They're called Woodies, and they come in a variety of packages where you can get different colors, and I'm just adding some water to them here, rubbing it with my fingers. As I'm doing this, I'm thinking maybe it's a little bit too dark and doesn't quite go with the colors I've chosen, which is fine because you can always change your mind and cover them up later. I'm taking some more craft paint and just using my paintbrush to add some circles onto the background. Going back over those spots again, I'm trying a little bit lighter color of the Stabilos, but it's just not quite what I'm looking for. Here's some vintage wallpaper. These are available in the art goods shop in a pack from these all came from, I think they're all like 1960s vintage papers. I like this one because it kind of looks like doodled flowers. I used a Yoo-hoo glue stick to adhere that to the background. And this is just some old ledger paper, or it looks like an old receipt maybe that I found from my stash. I'm just going through some papers. This is an envelope from a bill. I just like the blue. It plays off nicely from the paint colors and the blues in the wallpaper. This is also part of that vintage wallpaper pack, kind of these bold retro flowers. I'm using a pen to just outline the flowers, make them stand out a little bit more. And then I'll use my Yoo-hoo glue stick to adhere the vintage paper to the page. Now I'm using some India ink with a paintbrush. The India ink is also available in the art goods shop, and it's being painted on with a paintbrush just to create a little border, some little doodles. And then I'm just going to outline, enhance the flowers a little bit on the page, or not the flowers, I'm sorry, little circles. Now I've printed out some of my Instagram photos, and I've just selected one here that I'm going to use on the journal page. I'm going through some of my labels, see what I like. Decided to outline the shoes in the picture with my pen, and then journal on the picture. I'm going to go ahead and see if I want to add any other papers to the page before I continue. Just some old book paper. Again, using my Yoo-hoo glue stick to attach those to the page. Some old, this is from an old letter. And once I find the position where I want my photo to go, I decided I'm going to just journal first, and then that way I can attach the photo over the top of that. And as I was writing, I decided it just kept going. And then sometimes I like to turn my page and just continue in a different direction. You don't have to just journal in straight lines. You can curve around and the text can go in different directions. Now I'm adding the photo, again using a Yoo-hoo glue stick. And I think this is 7 Gypsies tape It's got numbers on it. I think it's 7 Gypsies. And then I added that. I've got a bunch of different rolls of different numbers, but I think this was the one I liked the best. These are some labels from a pack called So Chic labels. I like the contrast of the white, so I think I pull that aside. I'm adding some white acrylic paint to the inside of the circles, make them stand out a little bit more. I'm trying to decide where I want to put the label, and in the meantime, I'm just enhancing the border doodle a little bit more with my pen. Make that stand out just a little bit more. Now, this stencil is new. It was designed by Pam Carricker. It's available from Stencil Girl Stencils. And I thought I'd give it a try here and see how I liked it on the background. My background's pretty busy, but that's okay. I decided to just use a pen to draw through the stencil. You could use a spray ink, spray paint. You could use acrylic paint. I just decided to keep that messy look and just use the pen. It isn't quite as thick or stand out quite as much as if I had used paint, but that's okay. I'm going to go back in later and enhance it with an oil pastel. Now I'm stapling the bottom of that label onto my page, but it needs a little something else. So I'm going to put a little bit of tape. This is some other decorative tape to the side of it. The number circle, I like to use those for dating my pages if you don't want to just handwrite your number in. This is also, this flower here is also from that vintage wallpaper pack. I didn't use it in the base, so I'm trying to decide if I want to use it on the page or not, but ultimately I think I'm going to add another one of those pretty retro flowers. I think they look a little bit better because it goes with the ones I've already added to the page. So I'm just going to outline this one to make it consistent and glue stick it onto the page. I decided that I wanted something with a little more color, so I'm using this other number 4. And actually, these were designed by Marianne Moss. I think I got those in a workshop I took with her. I just like that hint of red that's in it. And I outline it with my pen. Add a little bit more tape. And I decided to add another little scrap of the wallpaper up at the top just to tie everything together. And I'll go back later and I'll re-punch through the holes there on the left-hand side so that they'll fit back in my journal. Here's the oil pastels just to make this stand out a little bit more. This is the black, the Portfolio Crayola ones, and just to enhance that a little bit more. That looks better. And I'm going to journal a little bit on the label. Just kind of look back and see what needs to be enhanced a little bit. Outline the number, the date for the date. And then I decided that I needed to add some color to the circles. I just took some of that, I guess that's that teal turquoise color that I used in the very beginning on the base, and I just used a small paintbrush to dab some little dots in there, outlined it a little bit with my brush. And then I decided to use those Stabilos again and just add some random squares, and I colored them in with a few of the different colors. Just making marks on the page. And then ultimately I ended up adding the date or the month to the little circle where the 4 is. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.